Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast for Out of My Head, tonight's episode of Degrassi here on Season 13. The episode dealt with a lot of great stuff. Let's start with Imogen. Now, Jack is helping out with the fashion show, and when she sees Imogen's designs, Imogen gets the impression that Jack is not really impressed with them, so she decides to change everything, and she uses a lot of household items and feminine products and kind of makes them more quirky and all that. Becky gets really upset about this because all Imogen seems to care about is Jack, but then Imogen takes over the MC host position for Tristan, which I will get into that in a minute. But she apologizes to Becky kind of discreetly using, terms that mean multiple things, and it was a nice little speech from Imogen. But in the end, Jack reveals that she loved the designs and that she is, jealous of Imogen, and Imogen says that she's jealous of her, and they just have this really nice moment and they kiss. So I'm really excited to see where they're going to keep going with this. Obviously, next week we're going to take a break from Imogen and Jack for the most part, or completely, because we have the big trial to talk about, and I'll get into that in a minute. So also in the episode was Tristan, and a plot that I'm really loving, really enjoying. I think it's great. Things are really heating up with Mr. Yates. They've been, hooking up now for a few days, and now he wants to hook up at school in the supply closet, or at least kiss and give a hickey, as Maya points out. And Maya ends up figuring out that Mr. Yates is the man that Tristan is hooking up with. So she tells Mr. Simpson, even though Tristan begs her not to. Now, Tristan says nothing, but what happens is Mr. Yates is suspended anyways because of the claim, and any claim, regardless of what happened, calls for an immediate suspension. And Tristan is pissed at Maya, and they have a huge fight in the halls at Degrassi. He basically says, "I never want to see you again," and the episode ends with Maya crying alone in the hall. I just love this plot. I think, the acting was great. It was heartbreaking in that final scene. It was really well done. We've had the teacher-student before, but we've never really had, the same-sex thing, so it's different, it's unique, it's interesting, it's fast-paced. I really like where they're going with it, and, I hope we get to keep following up, and let's see what else is going to happen and going to come of this. Finally, in the episode, the fashion show is finally here, and Frankie believes that her mom may have had something to do with getting her back in the show as a model, and Becky confirms that this is not true, and that it was because Winston said he would only shoot the show if she was not part of it. Now, Frankie is really upset, and she confronts him, and Winston basically says that, I like you, and that's why that he wanted to avoid her, because, of course, she is Miles' sister, and it would be awkward. But she says don't worry about it, and they end up kissing. They're very quirky and a different, unique couple on the show, and I do like it, and I definitely want to see and hear more from them. So I'm excited to see where we're going to go with all that. And then next week we have a big episode, the moment many people have been waiting for, the big trial episode. Becky and Zoe are both very involved in this. Becky, of course, feeling the pressure about the trial with her brother, and Zoe tries to take the trial in her own hands, but it backfires. We are winding down with Season 13, just a few episodes left. Next week is actually a 2-part episode, but it's going to air part 1 next week and then part 2 the week after that. And then the week after that, which is 3 weeks from tonight, is the 1-hour finale. So it's all coming down. Everything is going to really, be big. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to the podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all next week.